Hey, day 13. Still haven't broken the streak. Almost at 2 weeks. Oh, yes, getting there. Right. This is part four of a five-parter on the discovery process. And yesterday I talked about having an existential crisis, and I wanted to spend a bit of time on the why discovery is so important and the why of, and the how of the structure of a discovery call and the kind of different rabbit holes you can go down to. But as a real quick recap, client comes in with an issue, lazy salesperson or the uneducated salesperson is probably a better phrase, digs for a root cause, thinks, oh, my problem can solve, my product or solution can solve that. They jump to solutioning and miss every opportunity to create value during the discovery process. They miss the opportunity to take the customer on a journey to understand the pain that issue is causing them and on a journey to understand the gain, the benefit, the value they could get by resolving that issue. So today we're going to talk about how you actually do it, and rather than touch on every, because there's so many different permutations of how this can go, I'm really just going to focus on this bottom left-hand triangle here: issue, pain, root cause. That's where I'm going to spend today, and then tomorrow we'll touch on the top right-hand triangle, the root cause, gain, solution. So bear with, let's get stuck in. So first of all, it's incredibly difficult, incredibly difficult to do all of this on a 30-minute discovery call, right? It just isn't going to happen to a detailed level. If you are doing anything vaguely resembling an enterprise sale, you are going to need multiple calls and you're going to need to go through this process several times with different stakeholders to get their view of the world, all right? But we're not going to worry too much about that today. But I just wanted to stress, you are not going to get all of this done at the level of quality that you need to in a 30-minute call. And just to kind of, I can never resist the opportunity to talk about this. 30-minute discovery calls, you just don't do it. If you can possibly help it, get 45 minutes. Just hear me now, believe me later. 30 minutes is not enough. Just because it fits in people's calendars. Stop it, Gavin. Stop. I'm not going to rant about 30-minute meetings. Move on. Okay, so peeling the onion, okay, doing this work where you go from an issue and you understand the pain. What you have to do is go through a number of different layers of questions, right? You have to take the customer on a journey. Now, there's a couple of sort of mindset exercises to think about to help you with this. The first one is the kind of 5 whys model, which is based on a real life issue. There were problems with basically bird shit on the Jefferson Memorial in Washington. And to get to the underlying issue for that, they went on this journey of asking why 5 times. Now, that's a great mindset to have. Try and do it without asking why 5 times, because you sound like a 7-year-old child who wants an ice cream and doesn't understand why they can't get one. So the challenge is asking why without using the word why. I've got some good examples of that. The other way of thinking about it, as I put here, is the which means that mindset. And the which means that mindset is really good when you're thinking about getting to pain. So the 5 whys is great to go from issue to root cause. The which means that mindset is great to go from issue to pain. So if it's taking ages for a salesperson to update their CRM system, for example, what does that mean? It's taking me forever to update my sales force, which means that I have less time to prospect, which means that my pipeline is smaller, which means that I close less deals, which means that the overall performance of me and my other colleagues is less. So which means that mindset. So 2 good mindsets to bear in mind: the 5 whys and the which means that mindset. So how you actually then take the client on the journey from the issue to understanding or to getting to pain, visceral pain, you have to ask questions or what some people refer to as kind of layer 1, layer 2, layer 3 questions, or level 1, level 2, level 3. Basically, it's the same. It's you're starting at, and if you remember spin sales, still works. A lot of people piss on it, but the fundamentals are sound. These are problem questions, right? These are questions about challenges and issues that someone's having in their business. What are your current challenges? What would you regret not addressing in the next 6 months? If you had a magic wand, what issues would you solve? These are the problem questions, kind of the first half of them. Layer 2 questions, that then is kind of expanding on the problem and bridging into the impact or implication questions. So these can look like, how long has that been an issue? What have you tried doing to resolve it? How's that worked? Could you give me a real life example of the problem? Who else is feeling the pain in the business? Is this the most important challenge you're facing? So then you're starting to get an idea of, right, how long has this problem been going on for? Is it something that they've just lived with as a business, or is it something that's new and has just cropped up and is causing a real issue? Where is it on other people's kind of radar? Where is it on the senior leadership's radar? Where are they placing solving that problem or dealing that problem in terms of their priority stack? Because that then really helps you understand, right, have we got a high level of urgency here that we can harness, or is there quite a low level of urgency that we need to cultivate and grow so that we can move this opportunity forwards? And then you move into those classic implication or impact questions. And again, the word impact, it produces a visceral, emotion within people in the same way as the word why does. So try and ask impact questions without asking the word impact. Things like, what's the knock-on effects of this issue? How is that affecting X, Y, Z? So the word effect is much better. It's much softer than impact. Too many people, use the word impact. What's driving the urgency around solving this now? What are the downsides when so-and-so happens? And then you can start to get into the personal side of the pain. So I talk a lot about the 3 reasons people buy: time, money, status. Okay. I also talk a lot about the fact that a surprising number of large, complex, high value, high ticket deals start from a status perspective, because somebody senior wants to do something big and put it on their CV, and they reverse engineer a business case into it. It's the same thing here. You want to understand where this issue is affecting the person you're speaking to emotionally, personally. What is impacting? How is it impacting their status? And sometimes you can ask permission for that. You can ask a direct question: how is this affecting you? Or you can kind of work around it, which is what I quite like. It's, what effect is this having on the team, on your organization or your business unit? So it's a kind of way of asking about them without asking about them, if you get what I mean. It kind of tends to finesse it out. But that way, you're starting to peel the onion into kind of visceral emotions, issues that people are either potentially desperate to solve, or on the other hand, it's like, it's not a big deal for me. My boss is quite upset about it. Getting to that kind of insight is really valuable as well, because again, like I said a minute ago, you can understand the urgency profile. You can understand, right, how much work have I got to do here? Is this person really my champion? If they're not feeling the pain, not seeing the urgency, could I convert them to being my champion? But you're getting to that point where you want to be starting to understand how this is impacting the individual you're talking to from a status perspective. And simultaneously, you need to start to try and put metrics around that. Typically, it's understanding which KPIs are suffering most as a result of this. What is this going to, which of your OKRs is this most likely to affect you hitting? Like I said, I've used the word, can you quantify the impact on the business? Maybe, I can't say quantify the effect. I think impacts, try and avoid it. But if you're using it a slightly longer and it's not the first question out of your mouth, it's not so bad. Where it becomes a real issue is it's the first thing. So, oh, what's the impact of that? Because you just sound like a sales rep straight off a training course, pushed in front of a customer. But when you're getting down, you've built some rapport and you've had the conversation. How's this affecting the business? What are the knock-on effects? Could you quantify those effects? Could you quantify the impact? Could you measure the effect it's having? Cost increase, lost revenue, customer satisfaction, employer morale. You can throw out some of these as examples, right? You can lead the witness per se, and that's a good thing to do, not just because they might say, yeah, it's affecting all those things, but what often happens when you start to give examples is you'll get a pushback and say, no, it's not that, it's this. And then you're kind of like revealing a position to, gain a position. It's like, well, we see it hitting cost and lost revenue. You say, well, that's not really a big thing for us. It's about employee morale. That's the big thing that's really hurting us because talent is leaving. And again, you can run those back to time, money, status issues as well. But suggesting a few to get a no, however, it's this one, that's quite a good tactic as well. So to recap, you're taking the client on the journey. You're going from those high level problem questions, and you're drilling down into understanding where those sit on the level of priorities, some examples of the real life issues they're causing them. And then you're trying to quantify those, both from a kind of business metrics perspective, but from the impact it's having on an individual and their status, how they feel about themselves, how their peers feel about them, and so on. Once you can establish that there's both a qualitative impact, as in the person's status, and a quantitative impact, as in the person's ability to hit their key goals, then potentially whether you've got a good deal there. Once you get to that point, it's about summarizing, okay? Can I play this back to you? If what I'm hearing correct is, if I understood you correctly, so you want to get to a point where you are playing back what you've heard in their words at a kind of bullet point level to get agreement, yeah, that's exactly what's going on, or no, get them to correct you so you can course correct. And this is that bit where you get, let me just come back up here, you've gone from the issue, you've understood the pain, you're getting to here, and you're kind of really encapsulating the pain. This is the issue, it's causing this pain, which means that you're having to spend much time at work, you're not able to hit your bonus, your boss is unhappy with you, etc., etc., etc. That is the point at which then you can start to move on to the root cause, where you're asking, and this is like peeling that onion one more step. What do you believe the root cause issue here? In your opinion, why is this happening? So start to get them to expand on it. Then you can use your knowledge of the industry that you work in, the solutions you solve for, and actually start to talk about the issues you address. To what extent do you think XYZ might be part of the problem, and XYZ being the thing that you solve for? So whether that is a software solution that helps make it easy for a salesperson to update their CRM. To what extent is the amount of time your salespeople are having to spend updating CRM getting in the way of them prospecting and growing their business, for example? So you insert the issue that you solve for, and you start to kind of take them, move them, gently nudge them towards your product and solution being the one that resolves the pain, solves the issue, makes them feel a lot better about themselves. So, we've done this bit here. We've got an issue, we've done pain, we've done root cause. Tomorrow we're going to jump in and talk about then how you bring that together and move into articulating a future state and then positioning your solution. And that's when you start to naturally move into things like demos, getting next step, trying to understand who else needs to be involved in any kind of deal or any kind of purchasing motion that your customer needs to go on. But for now, it's Saturday evening, it's 8 o'clock. Hope you guys are having a great weekend. Subscribe, hit the bell on the channel thing. I need an animation that comes up that says that, don't I? But do subscribe. I'm going to be here. I'm going to do 100 days. I'm going to endeavour not to miss one. Hopefully you're adding value. If there's anything you want me to cover, you can DM me directly, or you can put it in the comments, and I'll read those and try and capture those. But for now, cheery bye.